Chad, do you guys know how hard it is to find a used micro SD card that's like not overpriced? This RAM and storage crisis is a huge issue. I want to show you guys something while we wait for our match. I'm sick. Like, I want to vomit, right? I have, first of all, I'm very blessed. Okay, I have good homies who sell computers at insane prices because they got them at insane prices. This was bought before the RAM and storage crisis. Oh, good, we got a match. I have 32 gigs of DDR5 and fucking 5 drives. Two are hard drives, three are SSDs. My SSDs alone, just my 2 SSDs, my 2 terabyte and 1 terabyte, I believe those are my NVMe's. Those cost more than I paid for this fucking computer, chat. We are in terrible times. Let me, I guess I'll play C&D.
Cloak and dagger. We are hope and fear.
We are in terrible times. We are not in good times. Like, I fully hope that the amount, the RAM going down, I'm sorry, the amount of RAM necessary for large language models to do what they do now going down with Google's new, I don't know, some sort of compression technique. I don't know the semantics of it. I don't really give a fuck about the semantics of it. I'm not an AI bro. I hope that like lowers RAM prices. What I think it's really going to do is it's just going to make people want more yields out of the RAM they have, so they're going to try to push AI further. But like, my storage and my RAM have costed me, I mean, now, if I were to sell them, if I were to sell out of gaming as a hobby right now, they would cost me, it would make me more money than this computer costed me, which is really fucked up. And I hate that. That makes me mad to no end. It actually just grinds my gears. It makes PC gaming as a whole really hard to get into if you don't have really low-end hardware that you're trying to use, or, oh my god, they really banned 3 supports. With 4 supports banned total.
Pick your hero.
Or it makes it so that you're kind of just forced to play on console, which is also going up in price. Right? You have to sacrifice your build and either spend a whole lot of money, or if you're on a tight budget, use DDR3 RAM. Like, we're not even to the point where you use DDR4 anymore. We're to the point where you use DDR3. I'm like a 2060 Super, 2070 with like an i7 6th gen that used DDR3 or a 4th gen i7. These parts are over a decade old, right? The CPUs, I mean the GPUs not, right? 2019 is when Turing came out, so like 6-7 years old. Fuck, I did the thing, the Zoomer thing. 6 or 7 years old, but powerful enough hardware to like run most modern games today. The CPU on the other side and the RAM on the other side, not so much. And storage costs so much that, you know, builds that used to be $300, $400 with crappy CPUs or low-end CPUs and like mid-range GPUs and a nice 512 storage drive or a 1 terabyte like crappy drive, like a Gen 3 drive, are like double or almost triple the cost they used to be. And it finally hit me because I have all of the hardware I'll ever need, at least for a long time, right? I have a laptop that's relatively decent, except when I'm downloading things on it, because the CPU gets pegged at 100% when I'm reinstalling games. A really powerful computer, right? A Radeon 6950 XT, very powerful, 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Someone's gonna steal my VRAM. I shouldn't have said that. And an i7 12700K with 32 gigabytes of RAM and 10 terabytes of storage. My PC is a beast. My laptop is relatively strong. I have a Legion Go original model, not a Legion Go S, not a Legion Go 2, but very serviceable, right? I use it for all sorts of handheld gaming whenever I need to, and whenever I'm down to, you know, just play in bed while I'm hanging out with my girlfriend or whatever. And unfortunately, and also I have a Linux gaming handheld PC, not a Steam Deck, but a Chinese brand, an AYN, that I put Bazite on or Chimera OS on. I wish that other people were as blessed as I am, because honestly, I have tons of gaming hardware. Some people don't, and it makes it harder for those people to be able to get into the hobby. And now, even with the console manufacturers raising prices, it basically makes it so that if you don't already have hardware, you're fucked. You can't continue to game or get into gaming as heavily. Oh, I died. You can't get into gaming. Right, all the PS5s went up. The Xboxes went up last year. I think they went up twice last year. And now PCs cost too much. The Steam Deck is sold out, right? Everyone was like, Steam Deck will be the bastion of budget gaming. You know, we can always rely on the Steam Deck, and then boom, the storage and RAM crisis makes it impossible for even those to get reasonable upgrades, right? Like you can't move on to a Steam Deck from a last generation Xbox or PlayStation because you can't find one now. Now you can't buy them new. Now you gotta buy them used. And used at the same price, if not more, than they used to be. Insane. All this came to a head. I really thought about it when I was trying to find myself an internal SSD to install Bazite on my Linux gaming handheld. Or I'm gonna try to snag home. Or instead, either that or try to find. I'm going the wrong way. Crap. Oh well, at least I waited out their whole. That's good. I hope I can save this Groot. I don't think I can. Especially because the Groot is not hitting my bubble. Nice. I'm just gonna back up. I tried, man. So I was just trying to find an internal SSD or a micro SD card for my Linux handheld, my AY and Loki. And I have a 256 gigabyte internal SSD, right? Probably like that's like that's the low end Steam Deck amount, right? It's finally filled up. I wanted to put Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on it. I don't have the space. I just don't have the space. There's tons of things that I want to install that are, you know, like 20, 30 gigs. But then I'd be taking off a bunch of other indie stuff. And that shit sucks. I don't particularly want to do that. So I was just going to buy a 256 gigabyte SSD, double my storage. Tell me why a 256 gigabyte SSD, a good one, is like almost the same price that I bought the handheld back for. I had sold it to a friend for pretty cheap, like $150, $200 or something. I was looking at like $120 for a really good 256 gigabyte 256 micro SD card. That's insane. That's way too much money. Like, that is way more. That is way more than I would have paid last year. Than I would have paid. You know,
Get ready.
we're 4 months into the year, so I guess I could say 6 months ago. 6 months ago, or a full 12 months ago. That's fucked up. And that's just for portable storage. That's not even for storage that goes inside of a PC or inside of a laptop, inside of a PS5. I'm not going to act like Sony raising the prices is not partially Sony's fault, because a lot of console fanboys are trying their best to give Sony the benefit of the doubt and say, well, they're raising prices, Xbox had to raise prices, Nintendo's going to raise prices soon. The storage and RAM crisis is just too much. They can't continue to sustain a selling console at a loss model, which that's kind of generally the old model of consoles. For a long time, the early adopters paid the most, and then manufacturing got cheaper, so the cost of consoles would go down, right? Like if you're an early adopter, you paid probably the most, you got the worst version of the hardware, and as the generation got on, the hardware got better and easier to make, so you would end up with a better console for less money. Now you end up with the same console for more money. Kind of sucks, but it's not all because of, I'm gonna try to grab it. It's not all because of Sony. I mean, it's not all because of the RAM and shortage crisis. We could also put some of the blame on Sony. Tell me why Sony greenlit a bunch of live service projects only to cancel them all and spend hundreds of millions of dollars making these games and then just took them all back. Spent $200 million on Concord just to unlaunch it in, what, 2 weeks? I think it was even less than that. Concord did not last forever.
Or a dagger.
Something like that is absolutely a failure of the company and stops it so that the company can't be consumer friendly as forward consumer friendly, right? I still think for the hardware you're getting, if you look at reasonable prices of a PC around $900, the PS5 Pro is really strong. It's not as versatile. You're in a walled garden. It's not the same. I'm not gonna act like, you know, I'd rather have a $900 PC over having a $900 console. That's me, right? But a $900 console today is probably worth the money if you have it, but not everyone has it. The cheapest end console on the market, being $400, is so low. It's so high, right? Like that's not affordable for people. When the Xbox Series S was like, what, $280, $300 when it first came out, that was such a good deal. We don't have that amount of, what's the word I'm looking for here? we don't have a budget conscious console anymore, right? If you want a budget conscious console, you have to just cross backwards to the last generation and hope to God that you can find a working PS4 that's worth the fuck, a working PS4 Pro that's worth the fuck, and just play cross-generation games, right? Marvel Rivals, I believe, is on PS4. This is a perfect example, right? The Finals for a long time, a game I kind of like, but I'm not very good at, so I don't play it too often. Also was on PS4. Recently stopped PS4 support, right? The consoles are over a decade old now, and they're going to be holding the next generation of gaming back, but as long as the hardware we have is too expensive for people to get into the next generation of gaming, there will be no next generation. If like a PS5, if a PS6 is going to cost me $1,200, I don't think that many people are going to be buying a PS6 on launch. They're going to be avoiding PS6 and trying their best to just use their PS5 for as long as possible if they already have one. If you bought a PS5 on launch, you made the best decision in consoles for the last decade, right? Like you are good, you are set. If you weren't an early adopter, you basically either decided at this point that you moved on to PC, or that you're stuck on PS4 generation until the prices come down. And that doesn't feel good. That feels off. I really wish that these companies would really embrace a more budget-minded gaming device, right? I think if Sony had ever decided that they wanted to do the Xbox strategy, where Xbox instead had their lower end console and their high end console at the same time, because that was the main thing, is they didn't have both. Generally, you make a weaker console first, and then you make a more powerful console later. They didn't think that they'd have better yields from the Xbox Series X, so they said, screw it, we'll just make the S now. I wish Sony had done that. Wish that there was a weaker version of the Sony PS5 that was easier to access, that is the same amount as the Xbox Series X. The S is $400 now. That is a decent amount of money, but honestly, when you look at the price of the Nintendo Switch 2 at $500, what, $450, $500? $400 for a console in this generation that's powerful enough to run modern games. Maybe not, the best that we want. Maybe not at 4K ultra settings the way we would like, but it runs these modern games, and it plays the same games as the other consoles of the generation, the Xbox Series X and the PS5. Uh-oh, I don't want to die here. Dang. The Steam Deck was a boon for indie gaming and like budget gaming because of how cheap it was. I really hope that the next generation of consoles, they can try to design something that does a relatively similar thing. Maybe it's going to be Sony's handheld, right? Maybe Sony's handheld is going to be the cheaper of the devices that is a little lower end, but plays all the same games at a relatively powerful pace, right? It doesn't play them maybe as good as the PS6 and as good as the PS6 Pro, but maybe it'll be on PS5 base level, right? And I think that would be more than enough, more than serviceable for, I'm going to try to catch him, more than serviceable for what we're looking for when it comes to a decent device to be able to play modern games without having to completely break the bank. I killed their Cloak and Dagger, and we still lost that team fight. Man, my team sucks. That sucks. I don't know why they didn't just stand in the circle of healing. I stand in the circle of healing. Oh, my ace. Oh. I was looking at like budget PCs because I kind of want to build another PC. Like, of course, not anything big because my PC's great. I don't need anything stronger than what I have right now for a long time. But I was looking at building some cheaper PCs to be able to maybe get some friends who are not on PC into PC gaming. And here's a guide of what to do. And for the life of me, at like anything under $600, I was fucking lost. I couldn't find anything worth building under $600, $650. It didn't used to be the case. You used to be able to tell someone, here's $450, you can absolutely make a reasonable PC for that price. You can absolutely make something that's going to be decent enough for the price. But now you're like looking at way more money, and it's not really something that everyone can afford. And that sucks. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Close and Dagger for ultimate. It's not something that a lot of people can afford. And the part that sucks about that is it means you're shutting out the younger generation from gaming, because the younger generation is going to be the generation that's going to struggle the most. They have the least amount of expendable income that we've ever had as a younger generation. I wonder if I can save anybody here. Oh, I'm dead. Dang. Man, my team is sucking it up, bro. We won that last round, but we might just lose this one. Maybe we can get it back. Gaming kept me out of a lot of trouble as a kid, right? And looking at the way the world is going, with all these teen takeovers and stuff like that, all the unrest civilly and politically, I hate it. I don't want the youth I know to get caught up in some stupid stuff because they don't have any way to just unwind at home. Keep your ass inside. Right? We'd say like, oh, you know, there's no third space anymore. That's not true. Pick up a fucking hobby, right? I collect and play cards. I don't really collect cards, but I play cards, right? I play Magic the Gathering. Someone hands me a Magic the Gathering Commander deck, I'll play a couple rounds. Someone hands me a Pokemon deck, I'll play a couple rounds. Yu-Gi-Oh, I'll play a couple rounds, right? I'll learn some fucking One Piece or some Digimon. Hell yeah. That sounds fucking awesome. I personally, right now, only play... Oh, good stuff. Right now, I only play Pokemon, but I know how to play the other card games, and I would play them if it meant that it would keep me out of trouble if I was the youth, right? I try to get every younger person I know into some card game. I try to get them to play a card game because card games are better than brain rot. They're better than... Oh, shit, that was scary. We almost didn't get it. They're better than brain rot. They're better than just sitting around watching TV, right? It's more interactive. This rogue is really fucking me up. Better than sitting around playing watching TV for the most part. Interactive entertainment. Same thing with video games. But unfortunately, video games are really expensive now. Not only is the average cost of a video game higher. Yes, you can say like, oh, well, video games in the 80s were more expensive because the cost of the dollar, the value of the dollar didn't go as far, right? But like, in that value, people thought $50 was worth it back then. Now people don't even think $80 games are worth it. We lost that. That really sucks. That was a ranked game too, right? Or was it not? Dang. I was doing great. Was that my fault?
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
No, I had 10k damage. I had the same damage as our Hella. Our Hella was bad. It wasn't me. I did great. Dang. Wow, that Hella was terrible. Oh well. Oh, well, I'll queue back up. It's just fake internet points. Who cares? I really hope that gaming isn't lost on an entire generation with how expensive it's going to become. There's only now one reasonable solution for younger people to get into games that doesn't cost a lot of money up front. I have to say that because I think cloud gaming is not good for the health of games. But it is now probably the cheapest entry point into gaming, right? You get yourself a nice phone that can use Xbox, the Xbox app. This is an Xbox campaign. Thanks, Sarah Bond. Rip you. You got fired. Or, I'm sorry, exited Xbox as a company. You know, this is an Xbox, a laptop that has a decent enough power level is an Xbox. Anything remote play can be an Xbox now. A Razer, what is it? The Razer Edge from like 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Even the budget handhelds, the budget Android handhelds, like the Retroid Pockets of the world, right? $200. Those are going to be just fine for cloud gaming. But the problem is, cloud gaming, you don't own your games. Like, yes, gaming won't be lost on a generation, but they will be experiencing it in a completely different way. They don't have a disc to pop in. They don't have a file on their computer that they can say is theirs or is their license, right? Like, sure, most of the games on my computer, because I don't really do DRM free shit, if like the world ends tomorrow and they turn off all video games, then I'm just shadow. Like, I'm not trying to source a bunch of. I'd find emulators, right? But I don't have a bunch of DRM free games, but I at least can say that I have the license to all of the games that I play on Steam.
Do you think you want to be today?
They are licensed by me. They're not on some server somewhere that I don't have access to if I turn the internet off. If I turn the internet off right now, I have a myriad of games that I can play. I have a ridiculous amount of games that I can play on my PC that do not require the internet. The younger generation won't be able to experience that, and that really sucks. That really sucks. And that's why right now I've been, you know, trying to get as many younger people as I can into card games, which, you know, still interactive entertainment, but it's really not the same. Those are two pivotal factors in my life when I was younger that kept me out of trouble, kept me sane, kept me happy, and kept me focused and productive, right? Kept my brain active. And those things really, really are being taken for granted because our generation is getting, not my generation, the generations of alpha and beta are just getting dumber and dumber. And I think it's the forms of entertainment that we are giving our youth. And it sucks because that attention economy is what keeps the world as we know it going, right? The world loves the attention economy. It makes a lot of money, but it's not good for our brains. It's turning us into the world of idiocracy. Thank you. Welcome to Costco. I love you. It's turning us into that. That shit's not cool. That shit sucks. This doesn't feel like real life anymore. I see people who seem like absolutely relatively reasonable people, and then instead of figuring something out for themselves, they open ChatGPT to ask it a question. And I'm like, this is dystopian. You need ChatGPT to tell you something that you could just Google for yourself really fast and find the answer to. And not even find the answer, maybe even just find the context clues to use your brain to put the pieces together. This is where we're at. You can't use a cookbook and a recipe anymore. You have to have a full-on video guide of how to cook.
Light doesn't dispel darkness.
I'm really scared for the future.
See the darkness
and like
it.
This has mostly been a rant about video games and about technology being harder to access. Right. And I think that in that it just like compiles all of the other issues that I have and that I'm scared of, because I'm more so worried about just what not having easy access to interactive entertainment is going to do. It's just going to make us dumb, and that shit sucks. What would I do? What's my solution? Once again, my solution. I'm older. I already have a computer. I already have consoles, right? But the obvious answer, if you're just getting into the hobby of gaming right now, you're turning 7 or 8 years old, and you're asking your parents are asking you if you want to start playing video games, and they say your budget is $400, your budget is $500. Nintendo Switch 2, an Xbox Series S, right? Remote play, be damned. Like, if you really gotta, I don't think having some of the Android devices is a bad idea, right? Having like a Razer Edge, loading it up with emulators and ROMs, but then also having access to modern games through remote play. But that's gonna add up. The cost is gonna be high eventually. It's not gonna stay as cheap as it is forever. And I don't even think it's relatively cheap right now. I think it's getting pricey already. Let me try to save this Moon Knight. There we go. If you're already in the hobby of gaming and you have hardware, hold on to it. Don't let go of your hardware. I was thinking about selling some of my drives for a little bit. Like, because I have 10 terabytes of storage, I have a lot of storage. I don't need all this storage. But I also shouldn't let it go. On the off chance I do need it. It's a lot of storage. It's probably just worth holding on to. Uh-oh, I'm scared. This Deadpool should have been in front of me to protect me, but it's okay. It's fine. Yo, DP, when I'm walking back with you, can you stand in front of me so I don't get targeted so I can keep you alive? Thank you. I appreciate that. Ooh. You know, if I wasn't yapping and in a style that can obviously be put on YouTube, I probably would have had some way meaner words for that guy. You know, gaming really brings out the best and the worst in people. Anyways, this has just been like a rant about like how gaming really feel like it's hurting right now because of the hardware issues. And that sucks. That bothers me. It makes me really sad. I don't know if there's immediate solutions. I don't know if the world's going to change anytime soon. But I sure hope it does. Because I don't want my hobbies, one of my main hobbies that's kept me sane and happy and at peace for a long time, to just go by the wayside and be lost. That would really hurt. It would really suck. It would really suck to see gaming as I know it disappear.